I'm going to try and do the best I can in helping some of the legal problems you might be having with immigration. I think I have to help you people out with this, the immigration crime, or the investigation, or the immigration. When you're dealing with ICE, right? It's a government agency, and all these agencies, ICE, all of them work for the federal government. Immigration is under the federal law, and if there is an illegal crisis going on, a immigrant crisis going on, where a lot of people were stayed here in the United States of the Americas, and they are cracking down on the immigrants, illegal, not immigrants, but the illegal immigrants. Let's get it correct here. We have illegal immigrants, and then we have immigrants, right? Those who naturalized here from another place, and they have been citizens for a very long time. There's a difference. They have a work visa. They came to the United States under a work visa. Your status has to be updated during that season. I think I explained already about the school that I worked in. The school nurse, she was from whatever country she was from. She worked there for years, years at the school. That's the best job to get. I wish I was a nurse, but anyway, when it comes time for the summer school, when school is out and the children, excuse me, when school is out for the summer, okay, she can work for the summer. Yes, she can do that. But after a whole school year, we're dealing with kids coming in the office, or all of the problems and all the stress and all the other stuff at the school. If you could get that opportunity to go home in the summer and be on vacation with your family for the summer, right? You do that. She only works here as a employee in the United States, but her status here is only for a work visa. See, this is what people don't understand about being a citizen and naturalizing here as in the United States, amnesty and all that other stuff. Granting people after a certain amount of time they lived in the United States amnesty, so they get amnesty. So you have to learn about the immigration laws when that's what, not only with the United States of the Americas, but also with any other country you go and live in for a certain period of time. It is not just the United States of America that have these type of laws set in place for the citizens of their country, and those who are just there on a work visa. They might work in a hospital. They might be a doctor in over there overseas, or they might work there at some type of job, business or whatever. The company at the business and whatever. But they there under a work visa. And it expires at a certain time where you have to keep your status updated with immigration. How long you staying and when you be returning. It's a certain time, and it has to be approved by the government, your government. All right, whatever government you're in under, the United States, the United Kingdom, wherever you might want to go and live in the world, or you might work in the world and places you might go stay in the world. See, people got to learn these immigration laws. Now, I understand that everybody feels that Trump is going to be like picking just up random citizens and people he don't like, or just to say that they don't, want them back in the country, whatever, whatever, whatever. That's why you have to know how to have a relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, so you'll be safe, and you pray and don't worry. Pray and don't worry. Okay? Have the right attitude when you have to go and state your and reinstate your status or whatever like that. Just just pray and don't worry. Now, all of this nonsense going on with these no king marches and these protests, and the Democrats are out here fighting and saying they here for you and they want to, excuse me, the Democrats saying they want to fight for you to be a citizen of the United States, and Donald Trump this, and they're using you for their political agenda. They're using you for because of the fact they don't like Donald Trump. Okay, so they're gonna feed you all kind of nonsense out there just so that they can destroy Donald Trump's presidency. Okay, this is what they do. Learn about how these politicians play on your intelligence. You got to know what's right for your own self. You have to be a critical thinker, and you have to know how to know when somebody's playing you and when somebody's being real with you and when somebody is just doing it just because they're using you for whatever. If you want to be used, then be used. But I'm just saying, for whatever political gain they trying to get. For instance, I got to use the LA because that's right now what's taking place. That's the season of that that protest. They got you out there to protest. Hey, come and protest for this, that, and the other. Any problems with immigration? You come to this protest. You let them hear your voice. Oh, you got to be heard, and we're gonna do this. They used you. They using these poor people in this time of season of desperation. Okay, the season of desperation for them. Somebody actually tried to get me to go to that protest, and I'm gonna be honest with you. A friend of mine, I called up, hey girl, how you doing, whatever. Haven't spoken to her in a while, and I just wanted to talk to her about some old friends that I was thinking about, and just wanted to ask her some things, catch up with her with that conversation. So she told me something about Al Green from the Democrat Party that was going to have these protests. We're going to get Donald Trump impeached. And you know what I said to her? I said, I'm not going to no protest. And she said, well, you know what? She got mad at me. And then she said, and I said, well, I like Trump. And she said, oh, you a Trump? She said, automatically she took the phone and said, well, this conversation is over. And she hung up the phone on me because I wasn't going to take place. See, she just had lost her job at the time that I called her. And the same thing happened to me. You know what I'm saying? With my job. But I wasn't thinking about going to no protest to impeach Donald Trump. I wasn't taking no part in it. Okay? See, she wanted me to go and be a part of this stuff, but I wasn't going to be a part of this stuff. I just got to suffer through the consequences or whatever of whatever I voted for until his election time is up. Until this next election, if I didn't like the way things went, whatever, this, that, and the other, then I would probably have to, choose another somebody to vote for, whatever, during the election. But right now, I think Donald Trump is doing all that he can for the American people to fight for these things that the American people voted for. And I was one of them for those reasons. Okay. I was one of them that voted for the popular vote, which was for the American people. Okay, I didn't vote for Donald Trump 4 years ago. I didn't vote for Donald Trump the last time he served. I did not. But this time I heard something different. Like I said, I listened closely to his policies or whatever like that. And that's why I cast my. I didn't hear nothing that was really something that Kamala was really going to do for the American people. I'm sorry. She was just too cackly or whatever, whatever, whatever. So I just couldn't go that route. So I'm just going to tell people like this. So anyway, moving forward, about this immigration thing, a lot of people are being taken advantage of. You being taken advantage of by these politicians. You being taken advantage of by your lawyer. You being taken advantage of whatever somebody is telling you because you're ignorant to the law. And there's no excuse to be ignorant to the law. When it comes to you being in a desperate situation, in a crisis like this, and you looking for help and you looking for refuge. Now, I'm going to try to do my best to help Latino people out there that are in this situation by sharing this stuff on my channel, talking about this, having this conversation with you on my channel about these things. Now, I'm going to show you a video that I came across that they saying that ICE arresting people when they do show up to do the right thing. No, you did not do the right thing, because you came into the country illegally, and if you were giving a temporary stay in the United States of America to work, for work purposes, and you did not follow up with your court date, you did not follow up with your status, okay, you know what time your status was to expire. Instead of them coming for you, you supposed to keep up with your court date. Like, say for instance, you got a doctor's appointment. Your doctor's appointment is, say, June 16th, and that's the date that your doctor have you on the schedule to see you. If you miss that medical appointment, you have to reschedule another appointment, or you may have to wait a whole long period of time to get that date to go see the doctor for whatever medical problems, system, whatever's your medical condition is that you need to follow up on. You have a certain period of time to keep following up on certain pre-existing medical things that you have. You got to keep your schedule, okay? If they come to look for you, it's not good. If you miss that court date and they have to send you a notice to appear in court, that doesn't look good. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to tell a lot of these illegals. Oh, I had a status to stay here. They don't understand. Nobody's educating them about them. These lawyers, your attorneys are taking advantage of you. Your immigration attorney is taking advantage of you because you're supposed to have that for yourself. Sometimes they so piled up, they even lose track with you. But when you're scheduled, you're supposed to contact your attorney. Sometimes you don't even have to go to court. Your attorney could go in and talk for you. If there's some problems on, your attorney can go to the courthouse and be there to talk for you. You don't even have to talk for yourself. Your attorney can talk for you. I had a schedule. I was scheduled to come in at such and such a date. They, have your status updated. Just stay update with your status. But anyway, this video is going to teach you something. Like, ICE is going to be waiting for you, okay? ICE is going to be waiting for you, because they're going to be waiting for you in the courthouse, because somehow or the other you was being ignorant to the law, or whoever was supposed to be taking care of your, immigration status and keeping things informed with you, and you're supposed to stay in communication. You got to stay in communication with your attorneys, because they got so many other people that they working through the system with. And if anybody, have any friends that's having problems right now, immigration problems, and they need some immigration consultation on what they need to do, don't wait till they come for you. If the court have to send you a notice to come to court, then that's not good. So let's listen to this video.
Abide by the law, but just know it could cost you your freedom. That's what immigration attorneys are telling their clients who are showing up in immigration court in Shelby County. WRG has told you about the ICE agents who have shown up at the court arresting people on the spot once their cases are settled.
WRG investigator April Thompson sat in on the court proceedings and has more on why attorneys are worried.
You wouldn't know court was taking place at 80 Monroe Avenue, but most mornings and afternoons, immigration court is in full force on the 5th and 8th floor of this downtown Memphis building. Attorney Andrew Rankin has been representing clients here for years, but says recently he has witnessed something never seen before.
There's not even a comparable, April. This is This is unprecedented.
These pictures show what happens to people who are trying to do the right thing by showing up to their immigration hearing. 8 people detained and hauled off in handcuffs May 22nd.
Taking away a single mother who doesn't even have a traffic ticket. There is no comparable in my professional career.
You listening to him, playing on people's emotions, okay? She doesn't have a traffic ticket, right? It doesn't matter if she has a traffic ticket. She has an immigration immigration right now, whatever, a date to appear on her status in immigration, illegal status. A lot of these illegal statuses, people not, like I said, you here to work for a certain period of time. When are you going to go back? This is the time. You get a date. They give you up to a certain amount of time. You can stay here for a year. Update your status within that year. Don't wait for them to come look for you. You go to them and try to get everything taken care of. Get your paperwork updated or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You go to them. Don't wait for them to come for you. But anyway, let's go again.
I don't even know what I would compare this to if I tried.
Our cameras aren't even allowed inside this building, let alone inside immigration court. But after a lot of wrangling, I was able to get inside without a camera, no recordings, just to witness court in action. We sat in on Judge Russo's afternoon docket. The courtroom is small and the defendants brought in one at a time. Most don't speak English and have to use an interpreter. Many of their attorneys aren't in the courtroom.
But they don't speak English. And they need an interpreter, but they want to stay in the United States. That right there is a red flag. That right there is a red flag, because the order to stay in the United States of America, if you here legally, you're going to know how to speak some English. Because America, that's the number one top language here is English. Now, there's some people like came here in the United States, they speak both. They speak their native language and they also speak English. So somebody that comes across the borders and say they don't speak English and they having an immigration crisis, to them right there is a red flag. So let's move on.
Appear virtually. We didn't see anyone detained the hour or so we were in the courtroom, but attorneys say there is a reason.
Most, in fact, almost all of the arrests are going to take place in the morning so that they can process them in Memphis around the lunchtime hour, maybe early afternoon, and then the transport comes to get them down to Louisiana.
He says judges are dismissing cases and telling defendants they are free to go.
They exit the immediate courtroom and then they're taken into custody either just outside.
See, this is another thing. They don't speak English and they getting confused because when they say, you are free to go, doesn't necessarily mean you're free to stay here, that they gave you a stay. You see, you got to understand the language of law. Your case is dismissed, meaning that your time is up. Now you can go. Goodbye. As you walk through the door, guess what? The ICE agents are there ready for you. That's the language. Listen to the language. I've been in court. I've been in court in New York for housing. If that judge don't give me, sign off the petition for me, don't sign it off and with a stay and stamp it with a stay. When I was going through a housing situation, not paying no rent, but I had to appear in housing court. And, the judge had to hear my reasons or whatever. And issue me a stay. And on that stamp, he gave me, when he signed off, he gave me a time date. A time date. If the judge is not doing that for you, with your and just dismiss you, you're dismissed, you can go. That means that it's executed. Okay? We have been executed. Meaning that you have to be deported. Listen to the language. This is English in America now. I know. This ain't no immigration thing, but this is something to help those who are ignorant to the law of immigration. And I understand, there's all different types of dialect of English, and everybody has their own language. And this is the language of law. They have their own language. And her not being able to speak English is also, kind of like this poor woman or person it is, or whoever his clients are that don't speak English. And they've been here for a long period of time, and they didn't know they're supposed to keep they status updated. They just thought, oh, well, I got in the United States, I got a job, working at some farm or whatever place they went to work for, that they was able to get a work visa and stuff of that nature, and they didn't follow up with status. And because everything was so backed up, by the time they got to you, you've been here already like over maybe even 10 years. You know what I'm saying? 10 years and you still have not become a citizen. You have a visa. You have gotten a visa through immigration. You have gotten a temporary visa for a certain time, and you have been trying to get your immigration, become, go through the process of getting your, citizenship here in the United States. But that process has not gone through yet. You have not got, just because you've been here a long time and you have a visa to work here and everything, doesn't necessarily mean, and immigration didn't come looking for your butt, doesn't necessarily mean you automatically become a citizen after staying here a certain amount of time. Doesn't do that. Maybe Donald Trump might do some changes with that with some citizens, but he will be considering probably doing that. But for right now, this is what it is. So let's move on.
Outside the door or in the hallway leading to the exit.
He says they are then hauled off to this ICE office near the airport. Because there are no bed facilities in Memphis, the detainees have to be taken hours away to Louisiana, the closest detention center, where they restart the deportation proceedings.
Restart your case under a different proceeding that allows us to get you out quicker and that provides fewer rights for you to challenge what's going on.
We're told it happens quickly and families can be left torn apart. This downtown worker witnessed it.
And like a mom was crying as she was getting put in, and then her kid, and I assume her husband, was shooed away.
They know if you don't show up to court, you're going to get ordered deported. They don't need an attorney to tell you that. They know that. But they also don't want to go to court and voluntarily cause their own arrest.
Attorneys say they are left in a quagmire as they advise their clients they legally have to show up for their court date, but also alert them of the risk.
You also have to advise them of the landscape, right? The entire landscape. I think that at the end of the day, an attorney's job is to help their client make informed decisions. It's not to make decisions for the client. I am ethical. I advise people of what the law is. That's my job. The law is that if you're ordered to show up for a hearing, you're ordered to show up for a hearing. But on the other hand, it would be disingenuous to look someone in the eyes and tell them that they're going to go home and see their kids tonight.
Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security says this is a part of the new Trump administration implementing the rule of law. Illegal immigrants who have entered the U.S. in the last 2 years are subject to expedited removals. ICE is now following the law and placing them in that expedited removal process, leaving many families fearing the worst. Investigating for your news leader, April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3.
Attorneys tell us ICE agents first started showing up at courts on the West Coast, saying this was a national rollout that has now made it to Memphis.
Okay.
So now to this story I mentioned a moment ago. Sanctuary cities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are not deterring ICE. That's the message we got from a Fox.
Okay. They could do that all they want to. If they want to work with ICE, they work with ICE. If they don't want to work with ICE, they don't have to work with ICE. That's their choice. But ICE is going to get to you one way or the other. They're going to find you one way or the other if you're dealing with some kind of and if you're dealing with as far as like on a crime level, and the crime like a real criminal level. But when you cross the borders illegally, you are dealing with when it goes to ICE. That is a crime. Immigration to enforce the immigration crime investigation or immigration crime enforcers. Okay, that's what ICE stands for. That's the acronym for ICE. So whether you going to try to run from them, you cannot hide from them because they're everywhere. They're in the government. They're at your kids' schools. They're there. You go register your children in school or whatever. They know where your kids go to school at. They're gonna find you. They're going to find you. You out there protesting and you throwing Molotov cocktails and burning cars. They're gonna find you because they everywhere. You can't run ICE away. They're gonna be here forever. As far as the law, when it comes to immigration, about coming over the border, drugs coming over the border. Of course, that's the Drug Enforcement Agency. That's a DEA. They all got different agencies, but ICE is an agency under the federal government. They know who you are. They know where to find you. They're gonna find you. It is no way around it. Your lawyers can't save you. You can only save yourself by trying to do the right thing of when ICE getting your immigration status, going to see about your immigration status, staying on top of the scheduled dates that you're supposed to be in court to update it. When that time expires, it's time for you to go in and upgrade your visa. I have plenty of people that came here that work with me in the workplace, and they here as they here as teachers to work, or they got a work visa. They have a work visa, or they came with their husbands and their families. Also, they came along with their husbands because their husbands' jobs are over here for a temporary amount of time. So they travel with their family. They travel with their children. They bring their children. And one thing about America, like the ones you ain't gonna see having too much trouble, as long as they work in here in the United States as whatever job they might have, if they have some kind of, it could be any kind of job, a federal job or whatever government job, whatever. If they have a job or whatever here, they travel with their family and they still got immigration things they have to still keep up in their status, but they got the money to do that. You don't see them coming too hard at them unless they get involved with something illegal, like with some drug crime family or whatever, some stuff like that. Then you might find those kind at the higher level, white collar, corporate, whatever, people working from out of the country. And they this is what people don't understand about America. America belongs to America, okay? France belongs to France. People that's from France, they belong to France. They come here to America, they live here for a while, they get a job here. Doesn't actually make them a citizen, but they all work together as United Nations. A United Nations, we all come from all different places of the world, yes, as immigrants. I'm not an immigrant, okay? I am an American, and that's the difference. I was born here in the United States of America, naturally here as a United States of America product, okay? My mother was born here. My mother's mother was born here. Her mother's mother was born here. And her mother's mother was born here, as far as I could go back in my generation. So I'm an American. See, people got to understand their history. So when you go and pledge the flags of allegiance to America, you are pledging to this country of your nation, of your country. The American side. There's so much to teach about that on so many levels, because even the United States of America, the building, okay, the Nations building that's in New York, United Nation building is in New York. That doesn't even belong to United States of America. That's where they all go to deal with their business. Those World Trade Centers and everything, that's where the money was all operating from, that area of New York, on business, on money, the United Nations. It doesn't belong to America, but that building belongs to the world of America. Everywhere in the world where we are, they have their war fights or whatever they want to have on making their financial deals and everything. That's where they belong. That's where they at. Okay, but anyway. Anyway, y'all, when you learn American history, you'll feel so much better to know who we truly is an American. Everybody came from somewhere. Some people naturalized here to become an American citizen. They wasn't naturally born here. They came from somewhere else, but they naturalized. They naturalized their citizenship here in America. That's where you gotta. It's a whole lot of stuff you need to learn. Like all these people, we all came from. Yes, we all did come from somewhere, but I came from America. I'm a born in the USA. Okay. I wasn't born in Jamaica. I wasn't born in Africa. I wasn't born in any of the Caribbean places of the world or whatever like that. I was born right here in the United States of America. That's where people get confused. I was born right in Brooklyn. Okay? And that's where people got to learn the history of America. That's how you got to learn American history. That's why I was not taking a part of the problems that the immigrants are having out there, who having some illegal issues, some immigration issues or whatever. Because I didn't immigrate here. I was born here. And all these black people that's getting up there that don't like Trump for whatever reasons they feel. I don't have a problem with Trump. Never really did have a problem with Trump. Even when I said I didn't vote for him the first time he served. I didn't vote for Trump because I didn't know much about what his policies were. I didn't know much about anybody's policy. I was just a registered voter and I just voted. Used my exercise mind. I just took a chance and voted for whoever. I didn't do too much of, following up on their policies or anything about them. I just voted. I was you could say I was an identity, one of those. I just voted. I just exercised my rights to vote. Because I wasn't that heavy into politics. But now with all of this stuff that's been happening in my life as I'm growing older, I felt I needed to learn more about what's going on in the world. And I just came to share this because I just wanted to just let people know, don't be confused with what these lawyers are telling you. You're not born here in the United States of America. You came here illegally. You didn't follow up on your status. And you came legally, probably. You feel you came legally and you're doing the right thing. But then you're not following up on your status. That's why I was listening to the ICE people, the agents, when they had that meeting and it was interrupted with Padilla. And then I heard about the other things that happened as well, like with, what's his name again? Oh my God. What is his name? Tom Homan. Tom Homan, okay, actually came out and said to people, we will find you. Because if you didn't come here and get your papers together and you didn't go through the process, we will find you. And he said that we will find you. Even if Donald Trump is like, oh, our workers at the hotel, they still going to have to update their status. And they still going to have to be checked out. They still going to have to be checked out. And they employ, I'm just saying, they don't want the businesses hurt, whatever. They got to find other workers that will work there. But they also got to apply too to have equal opportunity. If somebody applies there and is willing to work there, then they will have to hire you, or else they can be called in for discrimination. The labor law. Okay? And that immigrant that you got staying there will have to leave, or you might have to, you're going to have to do something. Okay? If you want them to temporarily stay in your workplace, you got to follow the law. For the American people first, you got to follow the law. If I say, look, I want to go work at a hotel and they got all them immigrants working there and you don't want to hire me, I can report you to The labor. I could report you to the Department of Labor of being discrimination. And you don't want to hire no Americans, but you want to keep hiring. Even if I want to take what you paying, you still got to hire me. And bump one of them out. The American people first. So with that being said, God bless you. I love you. And you all have a wonderful and blessed Sunday. And I may or may not come back again. But with this one, I probably not. Okay? I think I done enough. Let me get into my day.